Okay, as you can see, I'm going to be, this feels kind of like Oscars here. Okay, why don't you just, all right. Okay, the first question, again, candidates, you'll be given an opportunity to speak for 2 minutes on the question. As you know, the ringer goes off when you're finished. But Mr. Jackson, this question will be directed to you first. What do you see as the main role of a Rockwall City Council member?
It's a good question. My view of the member of the City Council main role is to voice the people's opinion. What do the people think about Rockwall? What do they want to come to Rockwall? And in the same scenario, people can't win or will not like all the decisions that's made, and the city won't like all the decisions that the people do.
All right, great, thank you. I certainly will. What do you see as the main role of a Rockwall City Council member?
The main role of the Rockwall City Council member is to represent the citizens. We perform the will of the people while at the same time protecting the rights of all the citizens. We also, I should say, we don't represent the city government. The city government's representative is the city manager. We represent the city people. We want to do what they want to do. We want to do what's right for the community. We want to protect rights. We want to protect property. We want to make sure that we maintain a good quality of life here. But our main role is to represent the citizens, and we do that by listening to them and getting them involved.
Okay, thank you.
One of my favorite signs I've seen placed on anybody's desk was one on Harry Truman's desk. It said, "The buck stops here." In Rockwall, that is the role of City Council. It's the place where decisions that can't be resolved at any lower levels, when they come to City Council, they're either decided there or they're not decided at all. In the years I've been watching City Council and watching the decisions that have been made, I've seen some very, very tough decisions made, and they've been made in very thoughtful and deliberative manner. These decisions have resulted in Rockwall being one of the finest places in Texas to live. Not only do we have some of the lowest taxes in the area, but we have one of the highest standards of living. And how we did that was as a result of thoughtful, considerate attention to each and every issue that's come through. And they've been, and many times, they've been very difficult decisions. And they've taken some very thoughtful and deliberate decisions, often unpopular. But the buck stops at City Council when it comes to the safety, security, and infrastructure that we all enjoy so much.
Great, thank you. Okay, question number 2, and the order on this question will be Mr. Lewis, Mr. Jackson, and then Mr. White. So, again, Mr. Lewis, what improvements or changes would you implement as a City Council member and why?
Well, some of the things we've done so far have been as a result of volunteer effort. I would encourage, as a City Council member, more efforts by the citizens to step up their efforts and volunteer. We got a dog park built. It's going to be opening in a couple of weeks, built on almost entirely volunteer effort. Let's face it, we are not out of the woods yet in this economy. The budget is going to be very critical. We're going to be looking very closely at the budget. We're going to have to have a close eye on the bottom line. And as a City Council member, I would like to encourage more volunteer efforts at keeping the city as great as it's been, and to continue its efforts going forward as we grow and face additional challenges along the way.
question, what improvements or changes would you implement as a city council member and why?
Improvements. Overall, Rockwall has been very good and growing very rapid. But today, we're going to have to sit down and think. Safety, as Mr. Lewis says, the public needs to participate more. Volunteer protection, within the neighborhood and then within our whole community. We have to continue to support our police department with continued training and education and technology. The same with the fire department. If there's a tropical storm come through here, who are we going to turn to? Them. So we have to continue to support them. That would be my main things to bring to Rockwall, the city council.
Number one thing I want to improve or change is our friendliness to business. I want to improve that. We need to make sure that we're very friendly to business, that we're willing to work with businesses that want to come here, that we're willing to change with the market, change with the times. Rules that we set up 25, 30, even 40 years ago for ordinances or zoning may not fit in 2011. We need to be willing to adapt. How we do that? We make sure that the ordinances we pass work properly and they're accommodating to business. We can look at past ordinances. If they need to be changed, we'll change them. We need to make sure we have the right people on the REDC, and we need to make sure we have the right people on P&Z.
Okay, all right. Those are the questions for Rockwall Place 1. I'll give you a 1-minute summation. The order will be Mr. White, Mr. Lewis, and then Mr. Jackson. Mr. White.
I want to thank the Rockwall County Republican Women's Club, not just for hosting this forum tonight, but for all the work they do in our community to get citizens informed and involved in local politics. As treasurer for both the Rockwall County GOP and the Rockwall County Republican Men's Club, I'm very aware of the sacrifice you all put forth. I've lived in Rockwall most of my life. I've watched Rockwall grow and change while maintaining the small town feel and sense of community that attracted so many to move here. I have a unique perspective of the history that gives me a unique insight into the future of an ever-growing Rockwall. For over 2 years, I have attended and kept a blog of every regular city council meeting and recognized what is needed on council. A true conservative who is fiscally responsible, someone willing to work with incoming businesses as well as existing businesses, and someone without a hidden agenda who will welcome and encourage citizen input and involvement in their city government. I'm the only candidate that will work diligently to make sure those 3 priorities are achieved. I'm David White, and I would appreciate your vote for Rockwall City Council Place 1. Thank you.
The success of Rockwall has been based over the last decades on people. People who, with rare exception, operated outside of political agendas and gave careful consideration to each and every issue, issues that affect you directly and profoundly. And it's this culture of thoughtful decisions and forward thinking that I seek to continue on council. When it comes time to decide who represents you in Place 1, Rockwall City Council, ask yourself, who has the education, the experience, the passion to think through the issues and make the right choices? Someone who's not driven by political agendas, just a desire to keep Rockwall moving in the right direction.
First, let's give thanks to our Heavenly Father for an opportunity to gather here this evening. Then I would like to thank the Rockwall Country Republican Women for inviting us here to this forum. But most of all, I want to thank you, the citizens of Rockwall, for coming out this evening. I am running for City Council to promote fiscal responsibility through the voice of the people. I mean, not me, but we, the citizens of Rockwall, have to change. We can't continue the way things have been going. We have to be open-minded. What didn't work, or you didn't think, you didn't want 5 years ago, today is probably the time. Please remember one thing. I'm only one voice out of 6. But with the people of Rockwall behind me, I will be the loudest voice in Rockwall City in history. Thank you.